How's it going, guys? It's Josh here. I hope you're all well and had a good bank holiday. Let me know in the comments. First of all, we're nearly at 3,000 subscribers, guys. We're so close now, and that is an absolutely insane milestone, so thank you all very much for that. Alright, so today we are going to be reviewing a keyboard, of course. What else? Basically, the guys at Plugable, I think they're based in Seattle. Quite nice guys, actually. They sent me a message and said, do you want to review our new keyboards? They're basically kind of budget-friendly mechanical keyboards. So, of course, I said yes. Here it is.
Even with RGB seeming to be all the rage recently, a lot of people are now opting for some quite minimalistic colour schemes. Black and white seems to be very popular at the moment. Now when it comes to peripherals and specifically mechanical keyboards, RGB seems to be the only way to go. After all, you can get any colour with RGB, including white, so it seems like a good idea to buy an RGB keyboard for your black and white setup. But is it? Well, if you specifically only want in the colour white, you'll be much better off buying a white backlit keyboard because it'll actually be white. The trouble is with RGB keyboards that they don't do white very well. It has a weird blue tinge to it that doesn't really match with anything. And this is where white backlit keyboards come in. And I've got one here from Plugable. It comes in 10 keyless and full size versions. I've got the full size version here. Let's get into it. Now to look at, I really like this thing. It's just simple. It's basically frameless. There's absolutely no borders around any of the keyboard. It's no bigger than it needs to be. The font is good. It's not gamer style, but it's not standard either, just sensible. We do get a little nod to gamers here with the WASD keys having arrows on them though, and vice versa for the arrow keys. One thing I'm not too keen on is the size of the logo though. With the rest of the keyboard being so simple, it sort of stands out quite a lot. Overall though, it is a very minimalist approach and it works. Let's talk about build quality then. The first thing I noticed when I got this out of the box is how heavy it is. I think I maybe expected it to be lighter because of how small the footprint is, but it's actually got some weight to it. The base is made plastic, but the switch mounting plate is a nice sturdy steel. The base itself starts off rather chunky at the back and then tapers off, perhaps to help with ergonomics. No braided cable here unfortunately, although we do get an attached piece of velcro to tie up unwanted cable. Cable length, by the way, is 1.8 meters. There's 4 rubber feet present on the back and also some flip out feet to raise your keyboard angle. These are rubber coated too, so won't slip. Now the keycaps on this thing are a little bit different. The tops are just the usual matte plastic texture, but then all of the edges are this very high gloss plastic, which actually looks really good. Moving on to the typing experience, we get MX Blue style Altimu switches. Now I've seen these used on so many budget mechanical keyboards, but each keyboard still manages to have its own feel. These actually feel a little bit lighter than other blues that I've used, but we still get that nice clicky sound. Now because they're quite light, they're really nice for typing, and for gaming we get full N key rollover. Currently this keyboard is only available in US layout, but it may soon be available in other layouts too. We can also find all of our usual multimedia function keys along the top row. Moving on to the type test now then, here it is. As with all clicky switches, they do generate quite a bit of noise, so just bear in mind where you're going to be using this. Let's talk about lighting next. So this keyboard, it comes with white backlighting, and the good news is it is actually proper white and will match perfectly with any white or black setup, unlike the weird off-white you find on RGB keyboards. They're bright enough to see in daylight and illuminate nicely at night. There's not really much to mention in terms of effects, although we do get this rather nice breathing effect, which although simple, again works well with the overall minimalistic approach. The static and breathing modes can be toggled by pressing FN and the home key. When you're in static mode, you can change the brightness of the LEDs by holding FN and pressing the plus and minus keys. There's actually quite a lot of adjustability here as well, 8 levels of brightness altogether. And as always, you can switch the backlight off if you want to. Overall, you can see it's clear that Plugable have tried to come up with something minimalistic and budget friendly here. And at $49, I think they've done a good job. The 10 keyless version is even cheaper at $42, so if you're in the market for your first taste of mechanical keyboards and aren't too fussed about the RGB craze, this might be a really good option for you. Or you might just have a black and white setup and need a pure white backlit keyboard to match. What it does well, and other than the fact that I'd like to have seen a braided cable and perhaps a slightly smaller logo to fit in with the whole minimalistic theme, I'd definitely recommend it.
And there we go, a pretty good keyboard. If you want to check it out, guys, I'll drop the Amazon links in the description. As always, thanks very much for watching, and I'll catch you all in my next video.